Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Depends where you're gonna watch it and what time. Welcome to Bounce Back Diaries, and this is another episode. And this episode is in English, and I have here with me a good friend of mine, partner, mentor, Mr. Hany Mosbeh. Round of applause. Hany, welcome. Thank you very much for joining and finding time in your busy schedule. I know that you just landed and arrived recently. So please tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what you do, and then I'll start joking about your size.
So first of all, thank you for having me here today. I'm really interested to be in a bounce back.
Yeah.
I watched some videos and I like it. And there's a lot to share about the bounce back. So as you mentioned, other than a friend and mentor and so on, my name is Hany Mosbeh. I live in Dubai for over 18 years right now. Long history, let's say, in technology business mainly. Around 26 years working in that, which is a very, very long time, jumping from a company to another. I started in IBM.
Wow.
When IBM at that time was the main sales school, if I call it this way, in IT, because at that time there was no cloud.
Hold on a second. So just for everyone to understand. So when you say IBM, we talk about the IBM, the technology company.
Yes.
It's not international boxing.
That was
International boxing
Machine.
Machine, yeah. So IBM, the tech part.
100%.
So, and when you said 26 years in technology, you actually mean it. It's not a joke, right?
It's not a joke.
It is true, by the way, because when we met, you can't guess. When you ask anyone, what do you think he does? And then it will be either secret services, a bouncer, a bodybuilder, someone who takes something from people by just being there.
By force.
By force, yeah. So, but yeah, I want to know now, and I'm sure everyone is curious to know how you got into IBM. That was your first step.
So that was a very interesting thing, right? So if you look backwards, and now I started to remember, before I joined IBM, I wanted to join the Marines, actually, right? Which makes sense for you. Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense. However, rest in peace, my mom at that time, she was worried that if I joined something like that, she will not see me a lot, okay? And things turned to be, okay, what should I do? I was very lucky, and I always say it, to get an internship in IBM as the first job for me, right? And it was my first time to start wearing like a proper professional suits and getting into these things. And it was something new completely to me. However, I joined there and I joined as a collector.
For IBM.
For IBM. So
Don't
basically,
tell me IBM has a collection department.
They have a very big collection department. So IBM, in the history, it's the oldest technology company if you Google it, right? Yeah. So it was number one at that time. Let's say, taking over all the government sector, public sector and stuff.
But I want you to guys go to YouTube and put IBM 100 years old video. There was an anniversary video for 100 to understand how IBM started. That video is to be used as the best commercial or 100%. The best marketing video for any company.
And by the way, it means international business machines.
So,
just to make sure it's
just to replace it with boxing.
Yeah. Instead of boxing, it's business. So I joined as a collector, because, just to explain to people as well, so basically they have a lot of sales they do, and because it's massive, some people doesn't pay, right? And so they saw what you saw.
Yeah.
This guy's big. Okay, let him go get the money from people and collect the cash. I'm completely fresh graduate, like zero kind of business acumen and stuff like that. I was always in sports and different stuff. So I joined as a collector. After around a couple of months after that, I was told that the regional director of sales at that time wants me in his office. I thought I did something wrong, actually. That was in the back of my mind is like, what did I do? Yeah, what did I do to that he's calling me? I never met him before. And then he's like, okay, it's you. I was like, yes, it's me. So he said, okay, customers are happy. They're paying. There is no blood at all. So basically you have something very good that you don't know about. And this was exactly my starting point in the level of business world.
Wow.
And he did a lot of things at that time. I really love this guy until today, and he's someone very, very important in my life because he saw a lot of things about me that I didn't see about myself.
The potential.
He 100% saw the potential, and he told me one word that I always remember, and remove any ego around it, but he said, "You will be a star." And he mentioned it from his heart, from a business eye, right? Not as a look.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the business side.
Yeah.
And everything changed after that. He asked me to convert to be a full-time employee. He gave me the right courses, the right trainings, and everything. He told me, "You're born to be a salesperson, actually."
Yeah.
Right? You have everything from the definition of the character, the
Charisma.
voice, charisma, presence, all of these things, plus the size
The
as you
size.
mentioned and stuff like that. So that was the first starting point. I loved it. I learned everything about the business from that time. And then I got another opportunity, which was one of the best opportunities in my life, to join Microsoft, right? Wow. And without talking about Microsoft, I think everybody knows what Microsoft is. And I can tell anyone who joined Microsoft that this is one of the best companies to work for, because the amount of care they give you as well. So they realize the potential, as you mentioned, right? And they see this one have a potential, this guy have something to add, and they invest in this person, right? So you move from IBM, which is mainly about more hardware and stuff like that, right? I remember the mainframe and AS400 and so on, all of these machines, to the software side of the world in Microsoft. And that's another business completely, right? Everyone thinks Microsoft is a big name, so it's selling itself. That's not actually true. It's not the reality, right?
Let's talk sales for Microsoft,
100%. So basically, at that time, when I moved to Microsoft, the main competition for us was piracy, right? And people doesn't know that, but it's very important because I was trying to sell Windows and Office and everything, and it's sold on the market for 1 dirham on a golden DVD, as they call it at that time, right? So they have all the programs and everything just for free.
Wow.
Right? So you're fighting against yourself, actually.
Because that's your programs, but
exactly.
they're just...
So it's a very tough thing to learn, and a very, very big thing also to give you the resilience of how to fight. And that's very important. Plus Microsoft, you're talking about mentors that you dream to see, right? You're talking about Bill Gates, Steve Ballmer, and now Satya. And I was very lucky, again, to be part of Microsoft in the 3 times, because I left Microsoft after a few years, and I got another opportunity in Cisco systems, right?
Okay.
And so I moved again to the hardware side of the business plus infrastructure in the whole ICT. And I stayed with them around 5 years until the launch of the cloud in the world. And then I was asked to go back to Microsoft again.
No
right?
way.
So I joined back Microsoft again, and I was honestly, it was one of the moments that I was very happy, because you don't know the feeling of Microsoft calling you again.
No,
that's big, right?
The feeling is when Microsoft just calls you.
Exactly, that's in the beginning.
Whether it's again, not again, when they just call you, it's already big.
Exactly. So you understand that you actually have a value, right? That you're adding something, you learned something, your experience is something that they recognize as well, and that's very big. I consider it as the same as football.
But
right?
hold on a second. So it wasn't like you left Microsoft, joined Cisco.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft called you back. So they don't have these big companies. They don't have this policy, oh, since you left, the doors are closed, you cannot come back.
The policy is mainly about competition.
Okay.
Right? So usually the policy, if you join in competition, there is rules and stuff like
what
that.
What would
legal.
be the competition for Microsoft?
I don't want to mention this in public, but it's not a competition. Let's say kind of alike. It's Apple,
if you
right?
want to go
the
to
alike is Apple, right?
So if you go to the company who does software.
Yeah, something like that, Google and so on. At that time it was different, but you sign things that you cannot go to competition and so on. But when you go to Cisco, it's another business. And at the same time, at that time also Cisco was number 1 in what they do, right? So very, very strong in everything. At that time also I was running the smart cities business. I was part of smart cities business. I'm talking about 2006.
2006.
So, and people were, and we are a part of a team called Smart City. Nobody knows what we're talking about. Okay, so it's like something. So I'm trying to explain to you what you learn.
Yeah.
is actually sometimes people doesn't see it. They don't understand it, right? It's something in the air.
Yeah.
And that's why when you go back to Microsoft and you start seeing from Bill Gates to Steve Ballmer, right? And then to move to Satya, everyone have different culture and different vision, but everyone have a huge leadership skills that you get out of them, right? I'm telling you, people dream to meet these guys. I met them many times, right? And it's on personal level as well. And this is something for me I consider one of the top things that you start learning from people. And this is one of the points I think that people needs to understand, that leadership is about learning and execution after that and how to manage. We can talk about it later, but it's a big topic. It's not a small topic. After Microsoft, the most funny one was I completely changed from American side to Huawei, right? And that I went to the Chinese side of the story, and Huawei didn't hire me because of Microsoft. They hired me because of Cisco, right? Because basically they are competition with Cisco. So this is clear competition, right? And it's a completely different dynamics, completely different business. I remember the first time I went to the campus in Shenzhen, which is like Silicon Valley in China. I found a train inside the campus, right? A real train, this kind of train, right? So and I was like, oh my God, how many people are here, right? So it's like,
if they need a train.
and I found 220,000 people in the campus. Okay.
Of Huawei.
Yes, in Shenzhen only in the campus, the main campus.
Of one company.
Of one company. So you can understand the size of the business that you're talking about and the size of the company that you're going to. And I would say with all the things that happened across the couple of years or more in Huawei, I learned a lot of things as well.
When we met, you were vice president.
Yes. So
just to make sure that
So
this is C-level.
I didn't mention the titles, but I mean, from 2010, I started to take the GM and vice president positions across all companies that I went through after that. So I moved from the sales side of the story to the leadership side of the business in these companies. And that's, for me, I think it's amazing. And it's an honor for sure. And definitely it's a big achievement. Huawei, fast forward, after a couple of years, I did a lot of work with them. I'm very happy and really pleasure to be with them before. And then I decided to go back to the American side of the story. However, in between, I got an opportunity to join something completely different, which is real estate. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I moved to Damak, and I think it's very well known for. It's actually number one private developer in the UAE.
Okay, interesting.
It's number one private developer in the UAE, and as well, they're definitely covering the whole world in a way, right? So they have.
This is what I wanted for you to bring as an attention for those who gonna watch. They know Damak as a local developer. They actually do a lot outside.
A lot. They have developments, and actually that was one of the things that I was hired for. Let's say, right? So to open the international business mainly, right? So I'm one of the people who literally opened Chinese market in Dubai.
Oh wow.
And I remember I was going to China many times. I even have a business card with my name written in Chinese.
Okay.
In the Mac, yeah. So it was very interesting time of the life as well. Real estate, very famous in UAE, very famous in Dubai. It's a very big business for sure. You learn a lot. But one of the things I can say is that if I join real estate from the beginning, I'll probably will be a billionaire now. That's what I can tell people in a very clear way, right? So every business have its good and difference, let's say, or not say bad, but the good and better, let's say, right? So technology, for me, is number one business in the world, and it will continue to be. Any business other than technology, there is ups and downs. Technology is 100% needed in every type of business.
Anytime.
Either you're opening a small shop to sell any small stuff, or to a big corporation, or to a government entity, or to even military. Every kind of business
there is a technology.
Is running on technology. And if you look backwards, how old is internet? Right? It's not that old. It's 25, 26 years, right? It's like not that much, right? Yeah. All of this happened in 25, 26 years, or plus or minus, right?
Yeah.
Now, with the new era of AI, correct? Everybody talks about AI. But the reality is, how many people actually understand
What
the
is it?
value of AI and what does it do to us in life? Everybody was under the impression that AI will remove people from the game, right? But let me tell you something. If you go to cut your hair, who will do it?
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
there's some jobs, I'm not saying that only these jobs, but there are some jobs that will never remove the people.
Plus, I think it will also open opportunities for other jobs. Which will,
100%. And that's my second point.
Yeah.
AI is actually to increase the essential human part.
yeah.
That's actually what is meant to be, not to remove it. It's to increase the human interaction, it's to move to the human interaction more deeper. So another big topic that I would love to share with your audience as well about technology is like an ocean. It never finishes, it never ends. If you reach the level that you say, I know everything, that's the point of failure. You start going down. So it never stops. And that's why it matches some characters that you like to be always fast paced, right?
Yeah.
Because you need to learn about technology every day. There is always something new. I remember the crash happened a couple of months back. If I remember, Microsoft a little bit went down
Yeah.
for a while. Heathrow Airport stopped, literally, right? So
Yeah, yes.
technology is not anymore a luxury, is not anymore a fashionable thing.
Or like you decide you want to have it or you
There's
don't
no
want
option.
to.
There's no option. If you go to the TV even channels right now, right? Nobody watch something on the old TV kind of thing. Everything is on the cloud. Everything is managed digitally and so on. Digital transformation itself, it's a very big word that can change lives of companies. Anyways, we'll go back to this. So after real estate, I was actually pleasured as well and really honored to join JAGGAER, which I run right now in Middle East and Africa. And JAGGAER is another very well-established software company, again, mainly on the e-procurement space, right? And that's very essential for every corporation. Honestly, before I joined, I didn't know how important is that from technology perspective. But it's a SaaS company running e-procurement end-to-end. We're 30 years company. It's based out of North Carolina. The size of the company is not massive as number of employees, but we're very niche in what we do. And that the specialization that we have give us an edge against our competitors, especially in the UAE, for example, right? So when we were founded in the UAE or the Dubai office, it was clear direction from Sheikh Mohammed himself. And His Excellency decided to do this when he was still a Minister of Defense, before he is now the Prime Minister and what you know about him.
Wow.
That was very long time ago, right? And it was made mainly for the government sector and how to support government sector and how to support Dubai government specifically, which now, if you look at Dubai government, and one of the main governments in the world that's taken as a role model, right? It's the fastest government. It's paperless.
Yeah.
It's very easy to deal with them, and they're developing even every day more.
And a lot of countries look at this business up
100%.
to copy the model. Yeah.
100%. And that's why because we have a lot of customers across the globe from governments, and one of the main examples is Dubai government,
Okay.
right? So that's what I did in a nutshell, let's say, in a very small way.
Which
There's
is
a lot of things additional to that, but we can share later.
okay. So that's really inspiring story and career growth, starting from a debt collector for Microsoft, growing all the way to vice president, GM, and C-level positions, leadership, managing companies. Now working for another U.S. Company who does a lot of services and offers its services to
The world.
to the world and Dubai.
Absolutely.
Right. So working in those companies, right? And since our podcast is about bouncing back, about failures, about mistakes, would you remember any mistakes? Not you personally did, but maybe you saw companies, because sometimes, the purpose of this podcast, I want entrepreneurs and friends, not friends, those who will see those podcasts and reels, will pick up something for them. Maybe at the moment they are in a situation where things are not working right. They feel down. They feel misled. They feel that they are confused. And I just want to say, and I know personally, that sometimes it's so difficult to open up. so difficult to accept the mistakes. But I want from experts and friends I bring on this podcast for them to listen that mistakes happens on every level. C-level, business owner, huge companies. It's just that I think I want you to tell me.
Okay, so first of all, if you don't do mistakes, it means you're not working. That's my say, just to make it easy for everyone,
Yeah.
right? And if you look at the levels of people or the hierarchy in any organization, right? The more you get higher on a C level, like right now, I'm a senior vice president of the company for a huge region. What's my job every day? Taking decisions,
Yeah.
actually. So imagine one decision goes on the wrong direction. How does it do to the organization? So mistakes are there. If you don't do mistakes, it means you're not working. The best thing about it is that you need to learn from it. And you need to be very honest to yourself that you did it,
Yeah.
actually, because you're not God.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a human at the end.
Yeah.
You have a lot of experiences, and it's built up. What does it mean, experience at the end? Experience means a lot of things, situations, circumstances happen to people, accumulated,
Yeah.
and collectively we call it experience, right?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, I was like wondering, okay, every time somebody talked to me when I was younger, I have 25 years experience. What does that mean? It means everything you do every single day, right?
Accumulated.
And when you do things more, you will have more mistakes, right? So I remember, I will not say mistakes in a mistake, but there is definitely two things. One is a bounce back, 100% for me, a story that I definitely not shy to share, and one definitely mistake. So first, the mistake is that when you do a wrong investment,
Yes.
right? So, and that's a big mistake because it hurts you financially big time. Your expectations are always very high. And you think that investing is something secure. It's not.
Yeah.
All right? Investment needs an analogy and it needs a methodology as
Yes.
well behind it. Not because you have money, you can invest.
Yeah.
Spending money in investment is harder than making money. Trust me on what I'm saying. Making money is tough and you will reach by hard level. It's a lot of work, a lot of things to do. But the moment you have the money, it's very hard to use it, right? Because some people, they get all the money and at the same time, they don't know what to do with that. And then they start losing this money. And you hear a lot of stories globally without mentioning names, right? He was a billionaire and then, oh my God, what happened to
All the
this guy?
stories when a couple won 100
Lottery.
million lottery.
Right, exactly. And then what?
6 months down.
So, and that's back to the experience, correct? So if you don't have experience in general, and then in business specifically, you lose everything. So you need a lot of things to do. So one thing is the investment, and it's a very, very tough one because it hurts you for a long time until you're clear, right? So this is something I would say it's a mistake. But the good thing about it is that you learn, number one, don't use happy ears, right? I call it happy ears, and I even tell my team the same word. Happy ears means somebody promising you something and you run after it, right? This is completely wrong. You need to be smart enough and do the right research and the right analysis. First, is this person real or not? Is he legitimate or not? Is the business worth it or not? What's the ROI, right? Where is your return on investment on that one? I will not talk about special business, but you hear a lot of ROI, right? Oh my God, give me this money, I'll give you 100,000 immediately. From where? How? You know? So about the business itself, and then definitely the person that you're investing with. Is he really caring about this investment or not? Or he just want to sell it and then move forward? There's a lot of things behind it. So investment is one mistake. The bounce back, what happened to me in 2016. So in 2016, end of it, I had a very critical health situation at that time. And I ended up in a hospital in a very severe, actually, condition because my character is more based on energy and adrenaline and so on. So sometimes it goes beyond needed and it creates some pressure and some stress, right? And some overwhelming and some panic attacks and all of these things. And this is normal if you really care, right? But one thing is that I really went so far. I cannot explain why, because it's very limited to some names, so I cannot explain it. It was business, by the way. It was business thing. But the good thing or the funny thing is that the people who were visiting me in the hospital or sending me messages, some of them telling me congratulations because you stopped.
Okay.
They told me you will never stop until it's by force.
This was the only way.
This is the only way to keep you down.
Yes.
Stop running. Stop worrying. Stop fighting.
Yes.
I consider myself as a fighter by nature, right? It's something inside me. So sometimes God actually show you it's something bad, but the reality is about a very good thing for you. And I can tell you, on that time, I remember very well, I spent the new year of that year in hospital in intensive care.
Wow.
And now I feel it back, right? It's very simple when you say it, but when you are there and you're in the bed in emergency and in ICU and one of the doctors come and tell you, don't worry, you have a heart attack. Okay.
Don't worry.
How come don't worry and you have a heart attack? So it's like,
it was what age in 2016?
it was how many years? It's 8 years ago. I was touching the 40. I was like before.
Yeah.
So not even old,
Yeah,
right? I will not
exactly.
consider myself
Yeah.
old and stuff like that. But it was a turning point in my life. And I remember at that time I put even on my status on my WhatsApp at that time, it happens in a flip of a second, which is true. Right? Because literally we take life for granted. We take our body for granted. We take our health for granted. Stress is a killer. Pressure is a killer. And the reality is everything happens for a reason, as we all say, but you need to know the reason. Right? So try to find out the reason. So that was a real bounce back for me because I went from there feeling demotivated, feeling beaten by myself, right? So feeling like, oh my God, what happened to me? I'm going away. And it's not a nice feeling in this kind of, you're still in the end, end of 30s. And you feel like, what did I do to myself, right? And that time I stayed couple of months, exactly, thinking a lot about how is this affecting me? You went through depression for some time, you went through downtime, which is completely against my nature, and that's why I went out of it. So I remember even the doctor at that time, he told me, your strong character will take you to the right direction. And this is true. Everybody have a character and they have a strong heart that they don't know how to use it sometimes. So the feeling of, no, you know what, it happened, it's okay. Now it's time to stand up again and to fight again because you believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you will not stand up. You will not fight again. Oh my God, my life is finished. I'm dead. It's finished. Nothing to do right now. I'm so small. I'm nobody. The reality is you have to believe that your quality is there. Your experience is there. Your personality is there. There are people around you that you need to talk to as well, that they're important for you and they really care about you. And I know this is something very small number of people, I would say. It's a small circle. And as they say, when you get, your circle is getting smaller, you're getting more wise and smarter and more well-established, which is true. But again, my point here to everyone is that when you fall, it's exactly the right time to stand up and rise. That's the point of turning, or the turning point in your life. The amount of learning I learned from that time is massive. And it's something that I can spend with you days explaining and talking about. But the feeling of standing up again, it's much more enjoyable than any feeling you can get.
And this is the exact point where I want people to pay attention, that if you are watching now when you are on the way down, or you feel that everything is finished, it's actually just the beginning.
It's 100% the beginning. It's the turning point in your life when you grow, when you mature, when you really know your worth, your value. Things we do in our life, sometimes we forget to celebrate.
Yes.
You know, and this is a reality, by the way, except especially if you're working in like technology, right? So you do a lot of business every day and a lot of really success stories, but sometimes you really forget to celebrate it to yourself. And celebration can be anything. Buy yourself something, buy yourself chocolate even. Doesn't matter what is it, right?
Just Small gratitude.
Feel
Yeah.
that you did something big. This is very important because this is where the stress accumulate. Because you feel, oh my God, I'm doing stress. And then you win and then you move to the next one immediately because our business is like that.
Yeah.
But no, take a moment and recognize yourself. You remember Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
I want to thank me.
Yeah.
And that's exactly,
That's the best speech, I think.
And I love it because really sometimes you say, oh my God, I want to thank me for what I did, for who I am.
This is me.
So
I brought this on.
I did all of this actually. So definitely with the support of many things around you, but it's all about you.
Of course.
Right?
Those things will not be there if you were different.
100%. If you let yourself to the failure or to the shortfall or to any incident, and health-wise, for example, or financial, this is where the time that you can be with no value.
You know, I want to add to this that I like what you said, that celebrating your achievements, whether it's small or big, but just little bit. I read somewhere, it says that we all know that Allah, God, the religion we believe, the universe, Allah, He loves us, all of us, right?
For sure.
So now just think that everything what is happening with you, good or bad, He's doing it out of love.
Totally.
So lying in the hospital out of love. He wanted to protect you from getting somewhere else.
Exactly.
Failing now, losing money, investment, He's protecting you because of love to not doing or maybe going into wrong business.
True.
Anywhere, everything, just think everything you do or happening to you today, you are maybe out of money, or maybe you have thousands and thousands of credits and loans, and all of it out of love. Oh, that's where you get a goosebumps understanding that this is all out
100%.
of love.
We all go through that, right? So these kind of tough times, and again, it's another say, right? Tough times create tough people.
Yeah.
And tough people doesn't mean they're tough with other people. They're tough with themselves. They believe in themselves, right?
Discipline.
As you mentioned, God have the path for everyone. It's written, okay? And this is regardless of any religion. God is there. He have the path for you. We forget that sometimes. But the reality is that everything He does for you, as you mentioned, there is something behind it. Sometimes, as I mentioned before, staying in a hospital for a long time was actually for my good. Because the only way to stop me is to sit down and just be there. It was very painful, but when you think about it differently, God is telling you, stay here, I will support you to go up again. Right? And this is because His message to all of us is basically, I created all of you to be living happy. That's the reality, right? And I did it in a second. And I take it also in a second, right? So this is kind of reality. We're here as a human beings, and I would say, we're as human beings in this world for, I will not say a mission, but there is something we're doing for a certain time. It's all written by God. So if you believe that and you have it in your heart, in your mind, you will believe in yourself. And if you believe in yourself, there is nothing impossible. That's what I can tell everyone.
I'll give a joke on that if you don't mind. There's an old joke. A guy is like 90 years old. He's in a bed. He's dying. And he's saying, like, what did I achieve? What was my purpose?
Yeah.
And then the angel came to him and he says, like, before I die, I really want to know because I didn't achieve anything. So what was my purpose here on earth? He says, okay, now is the time to tell you before I take you. So remember when you were in grade 5, and there was a small girl also next door, your neighbor. He said, yes, I remember. The beautiful, he said, yes, I remember. So he said, remember you went with your parents for a dinner, and she was also there with her parents. He says, yes. And remember she said, can you pass me a salt? And you did? He said, yes. That was your purpose.
It's still a purpose.
It's still a purpose. You never know how her life turned around, but
exactly.
It was
You're made for that small thing in a way.
But yes, lying in the hospital, and it is true that, and it's good. You know what? I believe what is important, the self-analysis. And I can see that you do that a lot yourself, because self-analysis, they help you to understand what went wrong, because sometimes I also believe that if God and Allah made you stop being worried and put you in the hospital, so what is missing sometimes in our life is the we call it sabr, right? When we
Patience, basically.
patience,
Yeah.
and when we just need to stop for 5-10 minutes, 1 hour. People call it meditation, people call it pray, but
It's true.
I believe that if everything just falling apart, it's just the time to stop instead of rushing.
Totally.
Because I carry the same mentality. I am a fighter, and I used to tap myself on the shoulder saying, yeah, because I'm a fighter. Sometimes the fight is not what you need.
No.
Sometimes what you need is just step back.
And this is very important. Step back is very important. And it's a point sometimes you don't feel it. You know, sometimes even we don't have time to think. Really.
Yeah.
Like if you look at our calendars every day, for example, me, I'm flying for the last 9 weeks straight.
Wow.
Okay? Different countries, different cities, different hotel rooms, different flights. So you literally don't have time even to think about some stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's the time that you need to say, oh my God, now I have to stop, even to think, right? Because it's sometimes important that you think and then realize, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. As you mentioned correctly as well, it's not always the time of fighting.
Yeah.
And that comes with maturity, right? Because the age makes a difference here. And the age, I mean experience-wise. Because fighting, but sometimes you need to listen more. And then listen to yourself as well before you react. And this is part of, how I call it, like the negotiations part on a business side. It's very important that you listen.
Yes.
Right? It's something very crucial that you understand that listening is the biggest part of negotiations.
Yeah, sometimes you can win the discussion or the argument by just being silent.
100%.
And we saw all of it, like it happens in the movies. So you just keep silent, and the person is talking, making his own decisions, and then he's saying, "Oh, you don't want to listen to me," and then you keep on quiet, and then it's like, "Okay, I understand what you want."
No, it's very true, and actually, it's very true. And our business, we negotiate every day. Right? If you think about it, you negotiate with your kids every day, with your wife for sure, right? Even with your dog, you will negotiate something, right? So the reality is negotiation is part of our life. But someone like myself, for example, which took it very serious and became a certified global negotiator, that's big, right? You learn the methodology, you learn the idea behind it. You learn the first rule, which is actually you're always on one side of the story. You're not on the table to mitigate. You're not on the table to make everybody happy. That's not negotiations, right? Negotiations is that, for example, you hire me as a negotiator for you, so I'm on the side of Timur. What I show is different. But I'm 100% planning to make him win. That's big as well. It's another learning experience that you learn.
True.
And I think, and it's funny because the more you get busy, the more you want to get more busy. Right, so like someone like me already don't have time to do anything, or you don't have time to have even focusing on being a negotiator. But I took the time out. I was flying to do that. I took 3 years of working on this to get it, and that's big, right? Because at the end of the day, I didn't do it for my technology or ICT or internet business. That's not what I did for. It's for my life, right? It's something personal for me. And I learned a lot from that.
Wow, so you really took it serious because, 3 years studying of something, taking out from your schedule while work, and then you do it for yourself. Because like me, I still keep on saying, oh, I really want to learn guitar, how to play guitar. And if you ask me, what did I do for it? Did I buy a guitar at least? The first step?
As a toy.
Yeah, as a toy. Like, let have it. Normally, people will say, oh, is a guitar in the corner. Do you play? And say, no, I still want to learn. But I don't even have a guitar in the corner yet. But anyway, so the question goes then, with the position like yours and with the multiple roles you took and the busy schedule of flying over. So what is your passion? Like, what is Hany Mosbeh?
So,
what do you personally love to do?
Look, I think my number one passion is leadership, right? And I think it's, I call it to be a people person,
Okay.
right? I don't say it only as a leader or something like that. You have to be a people person. The difference between a leader and a manager is very simple in
Yeah.
my mind. And this is one of the courses that I give even to the C-level people, to the CEO of a company,
Yeah.
on how to change his company. And we'll come to that. Manager wants today. Leader wants today and tomorrow and after 3 years and after 10 years.
Vision.
That's the leadership. It's vision. It's setting the right strategy for the organization or for your team or for your business. And you know you're a leader when the people are following you. And people will follow you not because they're scared of you and not because you have to tell them something. The beauty of leadership is that they follow you without asking. So we don't ask them to follow you. You say your vision, you explain your strategy, you make them understand how you think, then they will follow you, right? So it's a big thing. People person is something that I learned across my life, my business life, my personal life. And obviously, it was something built in, right? I mean, it's a gift from God for sure. So thank God to this.
So, would you say that this is the main quality a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners who either come here or who start their businesses miss when they fail?
Totally, right? So I think being let's define people first in roles, right? So there is individual contributor and there's a leader, right? Both of them are very good. It doesn't mean that if you are a leader or a CEO, that you're better than individual contributor. It's not true, actually, right? Everyone have their own passion. You can be very successful as an individual contributor, right? If you come to take a position which is not your passion, to lead people and lead team and lead organization, you fail. Which is the opposite on the leader side. Right? The leader will always be a leader since his life, since he's born, right? In every action he do. If I go out with my friends, for example, when I was young, I'm the one who's taking care of everything. This is organized. I do the negotiations with the guys to get inside the club, right? So, you know, these kind of things. This is leadership.
It's
right?
shown,
It's shown. When you are in a sports team, you're always the one who giving guidance, even if you're not the captain, right? So you still take over, and it's a natural thing. That's why I'm saying it's a gift from God.
Wow.
Leadership is a gift. And back to your point, a lot of people, they think once they open a business, they're leaders. That's actually not true completely, right? So
if your name is in the license, it doesn't mean
it doesn't mean anything, right? So being a leader is not about a word. It's about a plan. It's about an action. It's about attitude. It's about perception. It's about behavior. It's about feelings. It's about emotions. There's a lot of things. I'll give you a very simple example. Right now, my organization, I have 23 nationalities in my team, right? Think about this, with all the backgrounds, with everyone have his own story or her own story, with somebody having a tension that their family is trapped somewhere, they cannot go with the tension that we have and unrest in the Middle East, for example, right? The geopolitical tension. The same in the Russian side and the Ukrainian side, right? So everyone have a story. Everyone have something behind it. If you start thinking this way as a leader, people will love you for it because this is empathy. Right? Manager is someone today, you have to do this. He cares about himself, not about people. Leadership is when you start building successors, when you start building stars, when you start creating people who have more ability to be leaders as well.
So you bring them up.
You take them up. You take them up with you. And it's in my world, when I say it, I say, if you all do great, we all go up, right? By nature. And this is reality. So a leader also have a very strong eye. And I mean by this as a business eye, right? So I see that Timur, for example, is someone have a great potential in that part. So you polish it, you make it shine, you coach him, you mentor him, and you make it happen, right? Leadership is about recognition as well. When you are a real leader, you don't recognize yourself, you recognize everyone around you. So if someone did something good, even if it's small, you give them recognition, him or her. You make them a star, you give them an award. This is leadership. Leadership in when you fight for your team as well. For example, if you're working in a corporate, all these people are depending on you, in a way, right? I'm not saying that you control anything, but they're depending on you, right? So you set the strategy, you set the vision, you put the plan, and they're following you, correct? So basically, all the decisions you take on the senior level and in the board level is on behalf of all these people. You need to think this way as well. You're not leader of yourself, right? So
Okay. So by listening all of it, I'm just thinking, okay, if we take an entrepreneur or a business owner who recently relocated or have a company here, small company, big company, say 10, 15, 20 employees, to have someone like you to be part of his board or to be on his side, he can't afford it for sure. And now thinking that we take 5 or 6 people like you, he will definitely, how he's going to run the business. I mean, he's not Cisco, he's not IBM. So where he should get people like you, or where should he get an advice? Okay, watching YouTubes, and of course, and again, we understand while running businesses in this region is completely
it's
different,
very complex,
right?
very complex.
So many nationalities, religions, and
Compliances,
compliance.
regulations,
So
rules.
how would company?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now is the time.
So basically, I'll answer you with our amazing baby project
Yes.
that will come to the world very soon, right? And we're working on this for almost a year right now,
Yes.
I think, to building it up. And the idea came from what you said. A lot of people, so in my life, I do mentoring, I do coaching, I do C-level executive coaching directly, which means taking to the CEOs of a companies and tell them how to change their company, but that have to go deep.
Yeah.
You have to go to restructuring, planning, finance, everything around the company. So the idea that we taking it to the world without mentioning the name of the project is mainly based on advisory, right? Everyone needs an advisory. In the personal life, you need advisory, but in the business, you need much more advisory to make it successful. So back to your point, a lot of these, I will not call startups, because it can be a startup, it can be a mid-sized company, and it can be even a company that's going through
Established, but
transition, right? There is a transition. They are working manually for a long time, and then now they want to go digital.
Yeah.
That's a huge change, right? What we are doing in our project is basically to collect a subject matter experts advisors, which I'm happy to lead that myself, because I'm a chairperson in 4 organizations right now, right? And my job is to advise the board what they need to do to change the way they're doing business. And that needs a lot of work behind it, which we are trying to offer through our new project on a very innovative way.
Yes.
Right? So back to the affording part. Some companies will afford us to be their advisors because they are ready and they understand our value as well. We are coming to change your organization and put it on the right track. Some of them, it will be very tough for them to pay it upfront. And that's why we're creating something very special, and I will take it as a copyright for us, actually, which is our dashboard, the consumption dashboard, right? And this is basically that you can choose the advisor that we will have on our company and our board as well, based on his expertise. So you'll have expert in finance, in legal, in technology, in real estate, in cars, in everything, in every business. That's why we call the advisor, because my experience is accumulated across a lot of businesses. The same with the people that we will have them onboarded with us. Everyone have a skill to add. Everyone have a time to give. It's a big investment. It's a lot of personal interaction with these CEOs of these companies. But our value, I can promise the people that it'll be so big that they will come to us for help.
And the other part, which will make it affordable, because you will definitely, if you see the board of advisors and you just go to their profile, you will understand that if you want to have all of them, you will never afford. Which is, I mean, you don't need first, and secondly, you might not need them all at the same time. While you're doing digital transitions, then you need someone as a sales, then you need someone as negotiator, then you need someone to bring you a proper CEO, because sometimes the company is running and the owner and the founder, like I used to be, Board of directors, yeah, it's me, and then I like to put all the titles,
Correct.
the founder, the CEO, without understanding what CEO
does it
means.
mean?
Exactly.
What does it
Oh,
mean?
I want to be CEO, and then you see this business got the founder and CEO and CBO and CFO. Look,
Correct.
those are C-level positions. You have to. So we will make it affordable in the sense that there is a subscription model.
Correct.
You can subscribe on monthly basis for a period of contract. We won't discuss details today, but exactly, you rightly said, the project we are building and we are taking it to the world is like a super brain.
100%. 100%. And the consumption model or the subscription model, as you mentioned, will help people to come on board and not be scared to invest.
Yes.
But as you mentioned as well, maybe you don't need even a CEO.
Yeah.
You need a CCO,
Yes.
commercial officer.
Yeah.
That's our job. That's where we find the pain points and change the whole strategy for you to be successful. So stay tuned for that. This is big,
Yes.
and I think it's very, very close to my heart and your heart for sure.
Yes.
To take it to the world, as I mentioned, and fingers crossed, this will be something really big for us.
Yes, and we will wrap up our episode on this moment. I'm sure, I think there is a lot more to add, and we'll do, because there are still shorts and reels are coming out from the interview you did with me.
Yes.
And I love it.
It's very nice, by the way.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
really
nice.
love it. Thank you very much.
No, it's
And
amazing.
what would you give to the audience as one advice or something, or like maybe your personal motto, something to say to wrap up this beautiful episode? I really loved it and enjoyed it.
No, and thank you so much for having me again. And I think it's a pleasure to be with someone that you're very close to as well.
Yeah.
It's a very easy discussion.
Yeah.
And as we found out now, we're almost an hour.
Yeah.
So we can spend hours talking about this. And please ask your audience as well if they have any question or need an advice. We're happy to support that.
Yes.
And help that without subscription model
Yeah,
for now.
for now.
But my main thing, I always have two things that I always focus on. The personal side of the story, which I always put it, and I don't know if you see it on the status or not. I always say, as Don Corleone said, this is
Okay.
where the Don name comes from, right? Because it's my main character that I love and I feel passionate about. And if you come to if you came to my office, you saw
Yeah.
Don Corleone everywhere.
Yeah.
Great men are not born great. They grow great.
Oh, wow.
This is a very strong message, and I always follow it because it depends on how you grow. And growing can be in business, it can be a person, and in any field that you are.
Yeah.
You always grow with experience, you always grow with how you see yourself. This is number one. On the business side, I will tell people, very important thing as a leader, never stop fighting. And if you don't fight for your business, nobody will do it for you.
True.
Very simple and very straightforward.
Very true. Thank you very much. I think it was
Thank you
wonderful.
so much. I really appreciate it, Timur. Thank you. Thank you so much.